welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here, and particularly today because I want to talk about a topic which I know is really important to you. So I know that you want to build your confidence as a CEO, and I know that you want to give a really good impression of yourself, whether maybe it's because you're pitching for funding, maybe you want to land a bigger client, or maybe it's just generally in terms of being the face of your business. Maybe you want to establish yourself more in the media and get bigger attention. And you want to come across as confident. But the thing that really you don't want is to come across as arrogant or pushy. And that in itself is actually holding you back from building your confidence. So today I want to dispel that myth, because I really do think it is a myth. I do think you can build your confidence in a way that you can feel totally in alignment with who you are, that you don't have to come across as arrogant or pushy, but you can still communicate your value in a really strong and powerful way. And so that's what this video is about today. So before we dive in, just in case you're here for the first time and you've landed on this channel and you have not got a clue who I am, my name is Fiona Lynn and I'm a leadership coach for women entrepreneurs. And every week on this channel, I share videos around topics like confidence, like resilience, like productivity, and whatever it is that I know that you need to become the best version of yourself as a business leader. So that's what this channel is all about. But let's just now dive into this topic, because I'm really excited to talk about it actually, because I do think this is kind of transformational in terms of even just allowing ourselves to build our confidence. So I think this really is important, and you're going to love this. So stay tuned to the end and I will share with you exactly what I think about this topic. So first of all, why does it even come up? Because it's hilarious. Like sometimes when I'm talking to women entrepreneurs, I honestly, the people in front of me that bring this up are wonderful people, like really warm, really lovely people who are incredibly talented, incredibly ambitious, obviously know their stuff and have a lot to share and have all the academic qualifications, and yet they're still saying to me, I want to be more confident. I really want to kind of just take my confidence to that next level. And often I'm thinking, but you do really seem quite confident. Realistically, you've already done X, Y, and Z, and they're telling me about some of their achievements, and I'm thinking, yeah, you really have got it all going. And sometimes it surprises me, and yet I know what they're talking about, because I went through this as well. And confidence is very much a shifting thing. It's not static. It's not something that you either have or don't have. It's something that you need to build at different levels. And I think certainly business pushes us, doesn't it? And we're always wanting to go to that next step, that next level. And it's about that, and it's allied to our ambition. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that knows that they want to be the top of their industry and they want to really make a name for themselves, then of course you're going to go through periods where you're hitting for that next level, but your confidence doesn't feel like it's really at the level it needs to be. So that's why I think it comes up in the first place. But this is a very specific thing around not coming across as pushy or arrogant. And that's hilarious, because the women that I talk to are by nature not the kind of women that could ever come across as being arrogant or pushy. And so that's the big myth that I want to dispel, that if you're sat there and you're worried about it at all in the slightest, then let me just reassure you that you could never come across as arrogant or pushy. It's a little bit like me as a coach saying, well, sometimes from time to time, clients will want me to hold them accountable to certain things that they've said that they really want, that they really want to strive for. And when they kind of have those moments of falling back into disempowerment and fear and, worried about whether they're good enough, sometimes they need a little bit of ass kicking as well as reassurance. Reassurance is not just the name of the game. And so it would be like me saying, well, I won't do that. I'll hold back from doing that, because even though it might be in my client's best interest, no, I'll hold back from that because I might come across as harsh. I might hurt them, or, I might come across as really mean and really hateful. And I think you can probably tell, to be honest, even if you've landed on this page from the first time, I think you can probably tell already that I'm not that kind of person that just being mean just I would just never come from that place. I would always come from a place of really believing in that person, knowing that I need to do what I need to do to serve them powerfully and not hold back. And I would never do it from a place of meanness. I would always be doing that from a place of love and knowing that I'm doing it because that's where they want to go to. And ultimately, as a coach, I would not be doing my job if I also fell back into disempowerment and fear and held back when actually that client is depending on me to be their rock and to be the one that never takes their eye off their goal, however they might be showing up, however they might be feeling, however they might be tempted to kind of like just flake out a little bit on, their goals. That's why they've hired me in the first place. So getting back to you, if that's where you're at and you're thinking, yeah, I really want to be more confident, and I really want to just nail this presentation, or I really want to make sure that I'm really standing in my power when it comes to this presentation, this meeting, this funding round. But at the same time, I'm worried about that I might come across arrogant or pushy. You just never will. It's not in your nature to do that. So if you were being arrogant, you'd be pretending that there are no gaps. You'd be pretending that you are really strong in every area and there are no gaps. And frankly, investors and prospective clients can see through that because none of us are perfect. And actually, in most cases, they want to be able to see that if there are weaknesses or gaps or problems that you've identified up front, they want to know how you're going to solve them. And, perhaps that's a collaborative thing, actually, particularly when it comes to investors, because often investors have teams of specialists that can actually help you to address some of those skills gaps or weaknesses in your team. So I think that's just a really important point to make, that I think that's where you are actually particularly strong compared to somebody that would show up arrogant, who actually hasn't thought about the weaknesses and gaps, and who people can actually see through. Now, to me, pushy means that we haven't been invited. And that is the biggest distinction that I'd want to make here. Now, most of the time women CEOs are talking to me, they want to do things that are perfectly legitimate business things to do. So, for example, pitching for media attention, pitching for funding, or getting a contract, landing a contract. So in all of those scenarios, you are in front of somebody with an invitation to take their time. And you have been asked by them to make a case, ultimately. And in making that case, you want to make a series of points and you want to evidence those points. So there's no way that you're going to be pushy because you have been invited. You have actually been given that stage, given that platform on which to demonstrate that you actually have the value that you said you have on paper. Because to be honest, most of us probably have had that initial introduction either by a referral or you've done some kind of like written introduction. So we're not talking about some kind of cold calling or anything like that. I think it's far more likely that you are going to downplay your achievements than you are going to come across as arrogant or pushy, because that's what I see more of the time. I see women who are incredibly ambitious and incredibly talented and who do have the academic qualifications, who do have the track record in business, who do have products and services that are genuinely useful, and who have amazing team members and all of these things. And they actually downplay what their achievements are. And I think you are much more likely to be on that side of the scale. And so this worry about tipping over into the other extreme is crazy, actually, when you think about it. I think you're much more likely to get to the point where you simply tell it like it really is. Because isn't that what we're talking about? We're talking about integrity. We're talking about you being honest about what you have to bring to the table. And what you have to bring to the table is all of those achievements and all of your potential. and also that ability to recognize your weaknesses, recognize your gaps, and to demonstrate that you're addressing those, and that you really have got what it takes, and that you know what it takes to run this business at this next level. And so they are the facts. That's what you're really trying to get across. And I think it's understandable to be worried that it's going to come across as arrogant or pushy, because we're just not used to talking about ourselves. We're not used to sort of putting ourselves forward and saying, yeah, I can do this and I can do that and I can do the other. But let's face it, if we can't communicate that, then, we have got a real problem, and it really is on us. I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you're now feeling much more reassured that you can actually build your confidence in a way that is truly in alignment with who you are, that you don't actually need to be a different person or worry that you're going to come across as a complete jerk face. There is absolutely no need. All you need to do is focus on what you actually are bringing to the table, and be strong in the knowledge that you do actually have a place on that stage, and that you are invited, and that you have got this amazing opportunity to give it your all. That's what it's really all about. And if you were thinking that you couldn't build your confidence because you worried about how you might come across, then I really want you to let go of that story that you're telling yourself right now, and jump into building your confidence by going for those opportunities, by taking those bold actions that you know you're capable of. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it's been helpful. And as I say, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. And obviously I can talk a lot more about this topic. So do comment below if there's anything you specifically want me to talk about, any specific issues, any kind of scenarios where you're feeling that your confidence really isn't where it needs to be, and I am more than happy to talk a bit more in my future videos about that.